Hello, a couple of days ago I believe, I've made a video on our first PlayStation fangirl. And this person is so illogical that there are even PlayStation fanboys that usually comment shit like this on my videos. Like, just look at the amount of emojis, okay? The amount of brain damage you need to have to even think about using this amount of emojis is enormous, or you have to be like 12 years old. Even he left a second comment on my video telling me that he had absolutely no fucking clue what this person was talking about and that she didn't make any sense whatsoever. So I took it upon myself to look through her channel to see if she had made any other amazing videos like the first one I could talk about, and I decided I was going to make a video about her video called "Having 23 studios is not a flex," in which she pretty much says that all of the new Microsoft studios that they have acquired, they're all shit and they don't matter whatsoever. They're all irrelevant. She also takes like a minute or so here and there to take a shit on Game Pass. So I'm very excited, and let's get into the video.
So I just came across this. Well, you know what? This actually isn't something that's brand new. Motherfuckers have been saying this shit for a minute now. Which, I don't know why this shit is such a norm, or why motherfuckers think this shit is a fucking flex, but whatever.
I just want to point out that much like her last video, she uses the word fuck about twice every sentence. I've been guilty of this myself in past videos, and I just want you to know that it makes you sound like you have an IQ below 50. It makes you sound like your vocabulary is so small it's mostly filled with curse words. And I'm not saying there's anything bad about using the word fuck or other curse words, I'm just saying if you use it twice a sentence you sound like a retard.
So basically, okay, if you guys have been keeping up with the gaming drama or bullshit and da-da-da-da-da, you will know that Xbox fans have been running around like fucking chickens with their heads cut off, bragging about how many studios that Microsoft has over Sony. And this is again why I say a lot of these niggas just aren't fucking gamers, because they aren't really looking at something that, like, they aren't really looking at a certain situation regarding the big two as like, oh my god, it's for the gamers and this and that and da-da-da-da-da. It's all about if Microsoft can get that win over Sony and kick Sony's ass and kick them out of the business and da-da-da-da-da.
Well, the same goes for PlayStation fanboys and you, doesn't it? Right? Because you only make videos about how much Xbox sucks and everything PlayStation does is amazing. Like PlayStation raising the price of games from 60 to 70 euros. That was fucking fantastic. I haven't heard you say one bad thing about that. Yet you get upset when Xbox fanboys are bragging about the fact that they have more studios now. Those fuckers are just happy that they have more studios, that they're gonna get more games, that their investment in an Xbox console is paying off. If Sony bought all those studios, you would have been doing the exact same shit. Don't pretend like you're better than them, cause you're really not.
Which is fucking stupid and is very counterproductive and goes against pretty much fucking everything. But that's how they fucking roll. They flip and they flop fucking constantly, like on a motherfucking, be on a fucking roll with this shit.
Yes, it goes against fucking everything and they flip and they flop. Very specific statements. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what it goes against. And I also know exactly what they're flip-flopping between. For future videos, it might, help your case if you actually tell us what you're talking about.
Shit, excuse me. But anyway, like I said, a lot of these motherfuckers been running around bragging about Microsoft having more studios than Sony. 23 studios, like, ha ha ha, Sony, da 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 da. Like I said on Twitter, it's not the flex that you bitches think it is. Like, this is what I constantly fucking see. See, Sony can brag, okay?
Okay, so Sony can brag and their fans can brag, but Microsoft and their fans, they can't brag. They need to keep their mouth shut. I get it now, and I'm sure her explanation as to why this is will be fucking brilliant.
Their studios and any of them can brag because they have been giving us great games pretty much with every PlayStation generation that we've gotten, okay?
Oh, okay, so PlayStation fans and Sony can brag about their exclusives because they've been putting out good games, except for the fact that's an opinion, which I do not share because I think that all PlayStation games are essentially kind of the same game, with different coats of paint. They're all third-person action games in a semi-open world with RPG and stealth elements, and personally I think most of them are kinda shit. But I can also totally understand why someone would look at the Xbox One exclusives and go, those are kinda shit. Because what games even were on the Xbox One that were exclusives, right? Like Halo 5, which was shit, Rise Son of Rome, which was shit, and besides that there weren't too many exclusives. But if you look at the more recent games that they've been putting out, like Gears 5, or all the games that the studios they've acquired have been putting out, you know, the thing that this video is about, those 23 studios, like, they've been putting out great shit, like Hellblade, Doom, Outer Worlds, Wastelands. A lot of these 23 studios have been putting out great shit even before they were acquired by Microsoft, right? And therefore, according to your logic, right, Xbox fans should also be allowed to brag about their studios and their games.
So they can do that. Microsoft can't do that, okay? Microsoft have taken in so many fucking studios that, like, it just doesn't, at this point, it doesn't even make any fucking sense, because every studio that they've taken in thus far have not really given us anything compelling.
What the fuck are you talking about? None of these 23 studios have ever made a compelling game or anything substantial according to this fangirl, right? Well, you know, let's take Hellblade again, right? Ninja Theory. When Hellblade came out, it was exclusive to the PlayStation, and PlayStation fans loved that shit. It was their favorite game, they kept talking about it, it was amazing, they thought it was a great game. Then Ninja Theory announces, hey, we're gonna put our game, Hellblade, on different platforms as well. PlayStation fans start getting a little itchy, a little uncomfortable, you know, and they start saying shit like Ninja Theory isn't as good as we thought, the game is kind of bad actually, blah 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 blah. They start kind of bad-mouthing the game a little bit, right? And then it is revealed that Microsoft actually bought Ninja Theory and Hellblade 2 will be exclusive to the Xbox. PlayStation fanboys lose their shit. They scream, Ninja Theory has betrayed us. They have been disloyal to our overlords Sony and to their customers, which is very ironic that they are the ones talking about disloyalty when they will literally switch up in any company that betrays Sony, quote unquote. Another example is Kojima Studios and Death Stranding. Death Stranding was going to be exclusive to PlayStation, and PlayStation fans were loving it, but then Kojima comes out and says, no, actually it's going to be a timed exclusive, and after a certain amount of months, it's going to launch on Steam on PC as well. And that version will have extra content. PlayStation fanboys went from loving and praising the game to hating it and talking shit about Kojima constantly. What I'm trying to say with this is that it doesn't matter if PlayStation fans actually liked any of the games these 23 studios made. If they liked them, if they enjoyed them, that doesn't matter. The fact that these games are no longer exclusive or are no longer going to be available on PlayStation is enough of a fact for them to say these games were never good in the first place and they're shit, regardless of what they actually thought of the game or what they actually said about the game in the past.
Something that you can grab onto and talk about for fucking years, like God of War, The Last of Us, fucking Ratchet and Clank, Spiderman, etc., you know? They haven't given us any of that, so I don't understand how you guys think this shit is a flex.
Again, those are opinions, right? You say these are great games that I will remember forever, but I can say the same thing about games that these 23 studios have developed. Like Doom is one of the only actually original FPS games out there right now. Obsidian and Exile are one of the last two big RPG studios that constantly put out great Western RPG games like the Wasteland series and Pillars of Eternity. Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas were games so incredible that they made me want to become an RPG game developer myself. Skyrim is a game that I personally thought that was quite mediocre, but people loved it so much they were willing to buy the exact same game for nearly 10 years. And then the games you put up against it, like The Last of Us, which has a great story, but the gameplay is if like Uncharted was 90% moving ladders. God of War is a game I haven't played, but the one thing I keep consistently hearing about it from almost everyone is that it's just a walking simulator. And Spider-Man was what? It was pretty much just Batman Arkham Knight, but you could swing off of buildings, which was incidentally the only fun mechanic in the entire game. And your opinions on these games can be completely different from mine, of course, but you cannot tell me that franchises like The Elder Scrolls, Doom, Fallout, Wasteland, Hellblade haven't made any impact on anyone ever. That's bullshit and you know it.
And well, it's on Game Pass, so da 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 da. And again, like I said in the video clip, the audio clip yesterday, okay, Game Pass did not come out of the good heart and kindness of Microsoft. This shit came because Microsoft were fucking desperate because you niggas weren't supporting the same goddamn games that you get on Twitter and you motherfucking brag about like on a fucking constant basis. Like,
Yes, this point is incredibly stupid, but I'm not gonna talk about it here. I've already made an entire video on it, which was the last video I made on her, where I pretty much talk about how her entire statement that she just said was retarded.
it doesn't make any goddamn sense to me and never will. And then you guys like to say all the time how Sony fans, you guys are always talking about Xbox and this and that and da 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 da. Like, you bitches do the same thing too, except you do it worser.
Yeah, you guys should do it worser. What are you, fucking 5 years old? Worser is not a word, mate. It's you do it worse than we do, which is not true. Because if they did, then most of the commentary channels like me would be talking about Xbox fanboys instead of PlayStation fanboys, which we don't because you guys are most definitely way worse.
Because y'all, again, aren't looking for gamers to win. Y'all are looking for Microsoft to win. Everything.
But you also just want PlayStation to win, right? You aren't for gamers either, because if you were, then you would have said something when PlayStation raised the price of their games from 60 to 70 bucks, because that's not pro-gamer, that's not pro-consumer. The only person that benefits is Sony themselves, but you don't have a problem with that, because it's Sony, and Sony is holy, they don't do anything wrong. You PlayStation fanboys are just as bad as the Xbox fanboys, maybe even worser, right? Because that's how you talk like a 5-year-old, worser.
So you just want them to buy up every fucking thing. Like, these niggas will literally say, okay, Microsoft done bought Bethesda, they might as well go ahead and buy Sega and this and that. Like, goddamn, bruh. Like, what? Again, you know, they haven't achieved anything worth talking about, like, years and years and years as time passes, bro. Like, no. Why do they need to keep buying shit if they're not going to nurture the talent and everyone that they have under them now? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And again, bragging about them having more studios is not the flex that you bitches think it is, because the studios haven't given us anything compelling enough to talk about for years on end. So
if you genuinely think that Sony has more substantial and more historically important games at the moment than any of Microsoft's studios, then you have to have some serious actual brain damage. You need to actually be retarded to think that any of Sony's games are more important than games like Fallout New Vegas or Skyrim or Doom or Psychonauts. You genuinely need to be of an IQ below 20.
with with Sony's little bit of studios, they have managed to give us great games, like I said before, every passing generation. And even the fucking PS3, which we know wasn't that good, but it still did its fucking thing, okay? But it's not a flex, okay? It's not cute to brag about. It's not a flex, okay? It's only a flex that they were making great games. But so far, you niggas have only been getting, like, the fucking lowest of lowest shit, like, ever possible.
Okay, please give me an example of a bad game that these studios have made. Please give me an example that isn't Fallout 76, by the way. Because that game is shit, it's garbage, it's barely a game. Right? But give me an actual game besides that these studios have made that was trash. Please do it, because you can't. You're not smart enough to actually look at a game and pick apart its game design and look at its flaws. Because, you know, you like Spider-Man, you like Days Gone, you do not have the mental capacity to look at a game critically and pick it apart and see what works and what doesn't work and why this is bad and why that isn't bad. All you do is you look at the game. Does it have a Sony exclusive logo on it? Yes, then it's a masterpiece. No, then it's a piece of shit.
Coming from some of the best fucking studios that Microsoft bought under them, and now they're making Disney Channel-like games. And
what does that even mean, Disney Channel-like games? Is Doom Eternal, is that a Disney Channel-like game? You know, the game where you rip out a demon's guts and then shove it down its throat? Is that a Disney Channel-like game? Or Hellblade, a game about a schizophrenic Celtic girl who goes to the world of the dead to try and free the spirit of her deceased lover? Is that a Disney Channel-like game? Are these Disney Channel-like games? Honestly, please tell me.
just like, I think Microsoft even stated themselves that they don't really want to like make all these risky AAA big buster type games. They want something quick and easy that's gonna be thrown on fucking Game Pass.
Can you link us like a video or an article or whatever, an interview where they said that? No, because it didn't happen? Okay, cool.
I personally do not see how the developers under them can put up with that shit, because that doesn't sound attractive to me, like, at all. But anyway, I don't like it, and I don't like you guys fucking sitting on this app, Twitter to be specific, and bragging about, like, Microsoft's success regarding their fucking studio acquisitions and shit like that. And
let me guess, it's because you can now no longer play these games, right? But they suck anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you know, anyway, I'm against exclusivity. I think that you should be allowed or able to play these games, and that all games should be on all platforms, and that console manufacturers should be fighting it out with hardware instead of with software. But PlayStation fanboys, which is a group you are a part of, are very much pro-exclusive. You guys love it when a game comes out for PlayStation that no one else on any other platform can play, but the second a game comes out on a different platform that you can't play, suddenly it's an issue and you're gonna cry and bitch and moan about it on the internet like you are doing in this video right here.
We're on the, what, 4th generation for Microsoft? 4th console. And we're still, like, literally, when you think of the best generation for Microsoft, where they had the best games on, and at least, you know, something that gave us something to talk about, was the original Xbox One and the Xbox 360. But nowadays, it's just, like, nothing that you can really fucking see yourself talking about nowadays. Like, even Halo's not worth the fucking gossip, you know? So, like, that's just, it doesn't make any sense, bro. Like, I just couldn't imagine spending $500 on a fucking console just for that fucking console maker to basically tell me that I'll be playing the same goddamn games that I played on my fucking Xbox 360 or original Xbox One, and once again that I played on my 360 and in my original Xbox One. Like,
okay, so give me a second to think, because your retardation has actually given me a headache. I'm pretty sure I have a tumor by now, but so what you were saying is correct, right? Xbox, the original Xbox and Xbox 360 had amazing exclusives, and Xbox One has kind of had a couple of very shitty games. And now you're saying I can't imagine spending $500 on an Xbox Series X, knowing that the only games I will play are the exact same games that I've been playing for years in Xbox 360 and Xbox One, and nothing else. Do you not think that those 23 new studios that Microsoft has acquired are there to make new games and new exclusives? Don't you think that Microsoft realized that what they were doing wrong with the Xbox One was that they didn't have enough exclusives and games that gave people a reason to actually purchase a console? And that's why they went out of their way to buy all of these studios. Are you that dumb that you cannot understand that these new studios will be making new games? Some of which have already been announced. There's only like 2 minutes left in our video, but I really do not want to spend any more brain power thinking about what this retarded woman is saying. It pretty much, she just repeats herself and talks about how none of these studios matter and they all suck, and we're gonna get the same games on Xbox, and I couldn't imagine buying an Xbox. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, you guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel a fuck ton, and I appreciate it a lot. I'll see you in the next video, and goodbye.